So, just wanted to put together a little practice for you. We'll do a little bit of shoulder opening, a little bit of hip opening, and then we'll really work on the back line of our body as well and try and find some balance. So we'll get started in a child's pose. Bring your big toes to touch, your knees wide to the edge of your mat, and sink your tailbone all the way back towards your heel. Send your arms long in front of you and just start to settle in. Make contact, forehead to mat. And then just start to take inventory. What feels good? What doesn't? What feels tight? What kind of sensations are coming in from different areas of your body? And as you start to notice these sensations, just allow your body to take up space. And then focus your intention towards your breath. Take a big inhale through your nose. Exhale, let it go. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, drop deeper towards your breath. Allow your ribcage to just fall heavy. We'll start to activate our Ujjayi Pranayama. That's our breath of victory. Inhale through your nose, seal your lips. Exhale through your nose. Create heat, create tension in the back of your throat. One more like that. Inhale, fill up. Exhale through your nose. Feel texture in your throat and in your next inhale, come up to a tabletop position. And leave your knees wide towards the sides of your mat. And then just start to take tiny little circles towards the right. So we're really allowing the femur to massage into your hip sockets, starting to open up the space in your pelvis where your legs come into your torso. And then just start to make tiny little circles to the other side. Get any little cracks out of your pelvis. And then when you're ready, bring your knees right underneath your hips. Go ahead and tuck your toes under. We'll go cow pose. Drop your belly down towards the mat. Shine your chest forward. Open up through your collarbones. Maybe you gaze up towards the ceiling. Breathe. And then exhale, puff your spine up towards the ceiling. Pull your belly button up and in. Push your fingertips down into the mat. Inhale, cow pose. Sink low, gaze up. Exhale, cat pose. Push down and towards the mat. Start to just take kind of a flow through your spine. Really organic, really intentional, but try not to force anything. And then as you come into cow pose one more time, shift your weight into your fingertips. And as you cat pose, lift your knees ever so slightly off the mat. So just 1 inch. Good, and then one more time, drop your knees back down. Cow pose. And then cat pose. Lift your knees 1 inch, hover above the mat. Gaze at your thighs, belly button up and in. And then downward dog, send your heels down towards the mat. Walk your fingertips a little bit forward, or maybe you just take a generous bend through your knees. Whatever movements you need to take here, do so. But then return to that feeling of heaviness. Just let the crown of your head hang heavy. Maybe you aim to send your tailbone a little bit higher towards the sky, while simultaneously bringing your lower ribs down and in to engage your core. Inhale, gaze forward through your hands. And then exhale, just take tiny little steps towards the top of your mat. And then bring your feet behind your wrists. Generous bend through your knees. Allow your stomach to rest onto your thighs. Shift your weight forward into your toes. Ragdoll, Uttanasana. Hang heavy. If you feel secure here, option to grab opposite elbows. Really just allow your lower back to decompress. You can sway side to side. Maybe you nod your head no, nod your head yes. Unclench your jaw, just relax through your face. Land your hands back down onto the mat, toe heel your feet to touch. And then inhale, we'll rise all the way up. Just slowly undulate your spine, one vertebrae at a time. Stack everything right on top of one another. And then Samasthiti, standing at attention. Bring your palms to touch. And if you feel secure, soften your gaze or close your eyes. Just take a moment to ground down. Focus today on maybe not forcing things. Maybe we lean back from our poses, from any sensations, and we just allow our body to truly take the variation that we need to feel comfortable and lean away from doing too much or forcing things. Blink your eyes open. Inhale, mountain pose, Tadasana. Reach your fingertips up and overhead. Gaze forward and then drop your shoulders away from your ears. And then start to take that micro bend through your knees and allow your tailbone to just fall heavy towards the ground. And as you allow your tailbone to fall heavy, see if you can create more space in the fronts of your hips. So really allow your pelvis to feel neutral here. Inhale. Exhale, side body stretch to the right. Just drop your right fingertips down towards your quad. And then maybe you send your hips over towards the left side. Just create more space in the left side of your body. And then option to gaze up at your top bicep. Inhale, mountain pose, rise back up to center. Exhale, side body stretch to the left. Just tap your fingers down. Little to no pressure into your legs. And then shift your hips over to the right side of the room. Option to gaze up at your top bicep. Inhale, rise up, mountain pose. Exhale, baby back bend. Just bend through your elbows. Lift your sternum forward and up. Maybe you gaze up at the ceiling. Cactus your arms to the side. Just bend at your elbows. And then maybe you bring your elbows a little bit forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands through heart center. Dive forward towards the mat. And then inhale, halfway lift. Press your palms into your shins or into your thighs. Breathe here. Pull your belly button up and in. Close through the fronts of your ribs. So really turn on your core here. Send the crown of your head forward. Lengthen through your neck. And then shift your weight all the way into your toes and take that micro bend through your knees, or maybe even a generous bend. Just allow your spine to be long. Inhale. Exhale, crouch and curl. So come all the way up onto the balls of your feet. Bend your legs all the way. Sink your tailbone down towards the ground. And then maybe you gaze back at where your belly button might be. Inhale, rise all the way up, mountain pose. We'll just flow this a few times. Inhale to stay. Exhale, side body stretch to the right. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, side body stretch to the left. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, baby back bend, goal post your arms. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Press your palms towards your legs. Exhale, crouch and curl. Inhale, mountain pose, Tadasana. Rise all the way up. Exhale, side body stretch to the right. Big stretch over. Inhale, mountain pose, rise up. Exhale, side body stretch to the left. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, baby back bend. So open your elbows, shine your heart up. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, get long. Exhale, crouch and curl. From here, plant your palms down into the mat. Inhale, high plank position. Pause and breathe. Push down into the palms of your hands, and then maybe you dig the heels of your hands into the mat and traction them back towards your toes. Start to activate through your core a little bit more. Drop your pelvis in line with your shoulders. Puff up through your upper spine. Inhale, shift forward a few inches. Exhale, lower yourself all the way down towards your mat. Leave your fingertips underneath your shoulders. We'll take a couple sets of Cobra here, maybe a few different versions. Inhale, send your nose long and forward. Gaze out in front of you, and then lift your spine just a little bit off of the mat. Breathe here. Little to no pressure in your hands. Press your pubic bone down into the mat, and then lift your belly button up and away. Squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. Inhale, get longer. Exhale, rest, come all the way down to the mat. One more set of this. Inhale, cobra pose, rise all the way up. Press down with your pelvis into the mat, and maybe this time you hover your legs off. Option to hover your hands. Inhale, exhale, relax down. This time, we'll take our fingers out to the side. Have your elbows pointing up towards the ceiling. We'll come up to our same cobra position. Inhale here. Exhale, drop your left shoulder down towards the mat and gaze to the right. Feel kind of an opening through the front of your left shoulder. Inhale, rise up to center. Exhale, drop your right shoulder down, gaze left. And then just flow this at your own pace. Continue to engage through your core. And then maybe you squeeze your legs together behind you to support this movement. Even yourself out. Come back to center. Plant your fingers right underneath your shoulders. Inhale, high plank, press up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Send your tailbone up and back. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, travel to the top of your space. Bring your big toes to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Press your palms into your shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Sit your tailbone down and back. Shift your weight all the way into your heels and lift your torso all the way up. Continue to squeeze down through your lower ribs. And then see if you can lift your lower abdominals up and away from your thighs. As you squeeze your legs together, inhale. Exhale, open twist towards the right. So drop your right fingers down and back. Create one long line in your arms. Maybe you micro bend through your elbows. Help you gain a little bit more of a twist. Inhale, chair pose. Come to center. Exhale, open twist to the left. Drop your left fingertips down and back. Squeeze your legs together. Micro bend through your elbows. Do the work in your core here. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, high plank pose. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, cobra pose. Maybe you cover your legs this time. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, high plank pose. Push all the way up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Just send your heel up and long. And then exhale, step through. Find a low lunge. Breathe here, just start to rock back and forth, warm up that back ankle, and then start to create some length through the front of your left hip. And as you come to stillness, stack your right knee directly above your right ankle. Inhale, open twist to the right. Lift your right fingers up and high. And then spiral your rib cage all the way over to the right side of your mat. Inhale. Exhale, return your palm back down to the mat. Drop your back knee down. Inhale, crescent moon. Rise your fingertips all the way up. Press down into that front heel. Maybe you bring your fingers to your hips and you just start to square them off. So make sure that one hand is not lower than the other or more forward or more back. And as you stretch out through the front of that left hip flexor, breathe. Return to that Ujjayi breath. Inhale to stay. Exhale, low lunge. Lift your back knee up and back. Inhale, warrior two. Spiral that back heel down towards the mat. Lift all the way up. And just breathe. Maybe you have to bend and stretch into your front leg. And then eventually settle into some stillness. Align your front heel with the inner arch of your back foot. And then again, take your hands to your hips, and maybe your pelvis isn't able to square completely to the long edge of your mat, but just make sure that one hip isn't higher than the other. Re-engage your core. Inhale, reverse triangle. So stretch all the way through your front leg, and then side body stretch up and back. Gaze up towards your top fingers. Press down through that front heel. Inhale. Exhale. High plank to low plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Step back to your high plank. Shift forward, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Create 4 points of contact on the ground. 2 hands, and then the shoelace sides of your feet. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in, and then exhale, maybe open mouth, release some heat. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step through low lunge. Breathe here, just take some organic movements through that back foot. Start to open up through the front of your right hip. And then as you settle into stillness, just make sure that your front knee is stacked directly over your front ankle. Inhale, open twist. Lift your left fingertips high this time, and then see if you can bring your lower ribs down and towards the left side of your mat. Turn on your oblique muscles here. Inhale to stay. Exhale, return low lunge. Drop your back knee down. Inhale, crescent moon. Rise all the way up. Push down into that front heel, and then again, take your fingers to your hips and just square your pelvis. Inhale to stay. Exhale, return, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two, spiral that back heel down. Set up that heel to arch alignment, and then maybe you take some bends and some stretches into that front leg. And as you settle into stillness, reconnect with your pelvis alignment. And then this time maybe you bring your hands to your rib cage and you parallel your ribs with the long edge of your mat. Gaze over your front fingertips. Inhale, reverse triangle. Stretch all the way up through your front leg. Big side body stretch. Let out to no pressure in your back hand. So really do the work here in your obliques. Inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Cartwheel your hands forward. High plank to mid plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Flip your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Send your hips up and back. Maybe you take a little extra wiggles this time, but just notice the difference between this down dog and our first down dog of class. What feels more open? Maybe something feels tighter. Whatever sensations are coming in, just notice them and then return back to your breath. We'll do just one little flow of that. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step forward. Big toes to touch. Inhale, halfway lift, get long. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Sink your booty down and back. Lift your torso up. Exhale, open twist to the right. Inhale, center, chair pose. Exhale, open twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward fold, send your hips up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, step through low lunge. Inhale, low lunge twist. Lift your right fingers high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, crescent moon. Drop your back knee down. Lift your torso up. Exhale, return to your low lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Spiral that back heel down. Lift your body all the way up and open. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, reverse triangle. Stretch all the way up through your legs. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, high to mid plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more side to go. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, low lunge twist. Your left fingers go high this time. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, crescent moon. Lift your fingers high. Drop your back knee down. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Rise all the way up. Stay for your exhale. And then inhale, reverse triangle. squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, cartwheel your hands, step back, high to low plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, come all the way down onto your knees. Maybe you take a seat on your heels, and then eventually we'll lower ourselves all the way down onto our backs. We'll just take a couple of twisting actions here. So tee out your arms to the side. Lift your heels so that your shins are parallel with your mat. And then be mindful that you're stacking your knees directly over your hips. So maybe you need to press into your hands and your hands back into your thighs and kind of feel that lower ab engagement. Inhale. Exhale, drop your knees over to the left and bring them to about a hover. Maybe you go halfway between center and the floor. And then slowly work your way back, connecting your ribs, your mid-back, your lower back. And then just let them fall over to the right side. And just hover. Try to keep both shoulders rooted down. And then go ribs, mid-back, lower back. And just take a couple of these, rocking from side to side, making sure that we maintain shoulder connection with our mat. My inner thighs are squeezing towards one another. And my lower belly is really active here, along with my obliques. Continue to breathe and finish out whatever side you're on. And then as you come back to center, plant your feet down. Take the hips width distance apart. Create one long line in your spine along the ground. Maybe you push down into your palms here. Inhale, rise up, bridge pose. Start by curling your tailbone up off the mat. And then your lower, your mid, your ribs, and your upper. Peel off. Bridge pose. Breathe here for a second. And just hold kind of a connection between your thighs. So your inner thighs are active here. And as you root down through your heels, your hamstrings also start to turn on. Inhale to stay. Exhale. Slowly undulate your spine back down into the mat. Take another one like that. Slowly peel your way up and off the mat. Just one vertebrae at a time. Doing the work in our hamstrings and in our glutes. Maybe your chest starts to creep up towards your face. See if you can create lots of space in the front of your throat. And then start to lower back down. Last time like that. Inhale, lift all the way up. Mindfully, gently. And then if this feels good to you, maybe today you walk your shoulder blades underneath yourself and go for a bind with your hands underneath your butt. So continue to press your elbows down and towards the mat. Continue to create that space in the fronts of your hips while you're magnetizing your inner thighs towards one another. Inhale, exhale,
Slowly release down. Supta Baddha Konasana, recline found angle pose. Just let the soles of your feet come to touch and then open your knees wide. And then intentionally place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Maybe you soften your eyes. Just take a moment, allow your hips to feel open, allow your back to reset. Maybe you have a bit more of a pace in your heart rate. Sometimes after back bends, we get swirling sensations in our heart. See if you can follow that swirling sensation with your gaze, your internal gaze. And then maybe you let it travel to the rest of your body. Slowly start to guide your legs together. And then we'll rock and roll the length of our spine. Gently this time. Maybe you get a few cracks out. And we'll come up onto our butt. We'll take boat pose. So you shift back to the point where your lower abs start to turn on. Flex through your heels. Squeeze your legs together. If this feels good, maybe you bring your knees up towards your chest. Parallel your shins with the mat. Squeeze your legs together. And then think of lifting your belly button away from your thighs here. So we're not doing the work in our hip flexors, but we're doing it with our transverse abs. Those are the supportive abs that kind of wrap all the way around our abdominal muscles. Inhale. Exhale, release down. Plant your hands in front of you. Send your feet back to a high plank. Option to flow chaturanga here or skip it if you want. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Send your heel up and back. And then exhale, half pigeon pose. So take your right knee behind your right hand and your heel behind your left hand. And then start to lower your pelvis down towards the mat. Maybe your pelvis doesn't reach all the way towards the mat. Something that can make this posture feel a little bit better is if you take your heel closer to your pelvis. You ideally are working to get your shin parallel with the short edge of your mat. But if for now you need to lean a little bit away from that, you can bring your ankle closer. And then check behind you. Make sure that your back leg is sticking straight out behind you. It's not kind of waving out to the side. And just let your pelvis feel heavy here. If this feels good to you, you can stay here. Or we'll inhale, get longer. Exhale, start to walk your fingers forward, sleeping pigeon. Maybe you come down onto your forearms. Maybe you rest your forehead onto your palms. And just find stillness here. We hold quite a bit of tension and stress in our hips. So challenge yourself to face that tension head on with stillness. Just sink in. Allow your breath to travel to those places of discomfort. And give yourself a chance to open up. Give your hips a chance to be open, to release some of that stress. Inhale, rise back up slowly. And then tuck your back toes under, step all the way back, downward facing dog. And then take some wiggles here. Maybe you feel a difference from the right to the left side. And then we'll go left. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, half pigeon pose. Your left knee comes behind your left wrist. And then start to lower your pelvis all the way down towards the mat. Check behind you to make sure your knee is straight and your toes are pointing straight behind you. And then whatever variation you need on this side, maybe you get a little bit closer to that parallel front to leg, or maybe your ankle needs to be a little bit closer to you. Just know that side to side is gonna feel really different. So we're not aiming to look identical here, we're aiming to feel identical from side to side. Inhale, maybe you stay. Exhale, maybe you sleep your pigeon, walk your hands forward, rest your forehead to your palms or maybe all the way down onto the mat. And then again, just challenge yourself to find stillness. Returning to that deep oceanic breath with consistency, so that if our mind starts to wander here, we can return it back to ourselves and take more of an internal gaze at what's happening in our bodies. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bring your back knee forward and around. Send your legs in front of you. We'll take a seated twist variation. So you're going to take your right leg, plant your right foot on the outer side of your left leg. You can flex or point through your left toes, it's up to you. And then take your right palm or your fingertips behind you. Inhale, lift up. Lift your left arm high towards the sky. Exhale, twist, open towards the right edge of your mat. Maybe you can hook your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. And then place your fingertips in a place that feels supported. Inhale, get longer. Exhale, deepen the twist. Inhale, create more space between each vertebrae. Exhale, deepen even further. Inhale, return to center. Maybe you take a counter twist here. And then bring that same foot to the inside of your left thigh. And then maybe you take your heel a little bit off of your mat, out to the side. Raise your arms up and overhead. And then twist so that your rib cage is pointing towards your foot. So we're about to fold over towards your foot. So maybe you need to take your leg a little bit narrower or wider, whatever feels good in your spine here. Inhale, reach the crown of your head, super tall towards the sky. And then exhale, forward, fold over that front knee. You can grab onto your foot here, anywhere that feels good, and aim to make contact with your forehead to your knee. So you may need to bend your knee generously here, but we're really aiming for that forehead to knee contact. So we can start to nourish our thyroid with our chin to chest connection here. Maybe you feel some sensation in your outer glute here, your outer right glute, and then up into your lower back. And then inhale, rise up. Exhale, shake out your legs. And we'll do the other side. So plant your left foot now on the outside of your right leg. And then take your left fingertips behind you, plant that into the mat. Inhale, reach up with your right fingers. Exhale, twist open. Create space between each vertebrae of your spine. So we're really getting nice and long here. And on your inhales, create that space. Exhale, deepen the twist. One more, big breath in. Exhale, deepen the twist, send your shoulders away from your ears. Inhale, come to center. Maybe you take a tiny little counter twist. And then bring the sole of your left foot into your right inner thigh. And then situate your leg narrower or wider, depending on what feels good to you on this side. And then shift your torso so that it's facing your right foot. Get longer, inhale, exhale, fold over that right leg. Intentionally place your fingers somewhere on your right foot. And then bend through your knee enough to make that forehead to knee connection. Notice what this side feels like in comparison to the other. Maybe you need to adjust, take a different variation. Or maybe you simply just need to send your exhales towards those sensations. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bring your feet together in front of you. And then slowly make your way down onto the mat. We'll take happy baby pose. Press the soles of your feet up towards the sky. And take whatever variation allows you to get your tailbone all the way down onto the ground. So maybe you have your fingertips on the soles of your feet. Maybe you just have your arms wrapped around your thighs. And maybe your knees don't quite come all the way into your chest. Maybe it feels better to have them a little bit wider. Just get playful here. Happy baby pose can often feel kind of silly. It's funny that some of the first movements we're able to take in this life is on our back, just our legs kind of wiggling about and our fingers reaching our toes. And so in our adult life, with so much else going on, so much extra tension stored in our hips, see if we can return to that sense of playfulness. Maybe we smile, maybe we find a little bit of joy. Whatever that is to you, breathe it in. And then exhale, curl yourself into a ball. Maybe you bring your forehead up to your knees, just hug your knees into your chest. Squeeze nice and tight. And then exhale, Shavasana, final resting pose. Let your feet fall open. Allow your palms to face up, to receive energy, to receive fresh air. If it's comfortable to you, tuck your shoulder blades behind your back to allow your chest and your heart to be the highest point of this posture. And then just close your eyes. Release your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Find stillness, total peace here. I'll guide you out when it's ready. some small wiggles into your fingers and into your toes. Start to wake your physical body up. And then if it feels good to you, take a nice good morning stretch. Bring your arms over your head. Maybe you arch your back up and off the mat. And then settle into your left side. This side brings us energy. Just allow your body to feel heavy. Support your face with your left bicep here. Option to stay here or lift yourself all the way up to a seated position. And then intentionally place your hands somewhere. Maybe you place your palms face down on your thighs. Maybe you take one hand onto your heart and the other hand on top of it. We'll just take one more big breath in. Fill up. Exhale, sigh it out. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank yourself for taking time to do this practice, for giving your body a little bit of nourishing movement and giving your mind some stillness and some moments to just take inventory and to ground down. Inhale, lift your hands to your third eye center. We bow forward to seal this practice.